Hey YouTube, so I wanted to do a quick tips for organizing for school. I know that when I first started college, no one really helped me out, so I kind of had a hard time at first. And since this is my sister's first semester of college, I thought I'd share some of those tips with you. So the first thing I would suggest would be a planner. So mine looks like this, and I showed it on the first video I ever did. And the reason why I like this one is because it has a double view. It offers a monthly view, like that. And the reason why I think that's so important is because it helps you see dates that are coming up. Do you have due dates? Do you have lectures? Do you have group meetings? Anything like that. You're going to be able to see it right away. And that's important because sometimes you get assignments so far in advance that you're going to forget about them. And then usually most planners come with this weekly view. So I find that some of these planners get pretty pricey, and as long as you have that double view that month and weekly, it doesn't really matter what the cover looks like. It's still going to be really useful. So don't get fooled by the pretty covering and have to pay extra for it. So the next thing I would suggest, and I also talked about this in my other video, is a flash drive. So again, don't be fooled by how cute they are. They have really nice ones. They have just regular ones like mine. They all work the same way. So mine's a 4 gig, as you guys can see. And if you're just going to do Word documents and save pictures in there, a 4 gig is going to get you a long, long way. If you're going to do music or games or videos, you're going to want an external or something a little bit more heavy duty. So the next thing that I would suggest would be a bookmark. And I know there's those standard ones and ones that hook on the page and are really cute, but those are going to fall out potentially, especially if you're doing textbooks. So mine is magnetic. It's like that. So just clips on the page, and it clips on a few pages. So if you're doing a section and you just have to go back and reread it, that'll keep that together. So the reason why I like this one is because it's thin, and then it's not going to fall out, and it's not going to damage pages on you. And when you're paying $80, $100 for a book, you want to keep it in good condition so that you're able to sell it back and get some money for it. So they also have some that are like this, and they go on the book, and I find that those are kind of like tape, and they'll get damaged since they'll be sticking out outside of the book, and if they rip out, a page is going to go along with them, and that's not what you want to do when you're spending so much money on a book. So the next thing that I would suggest would be binders. I know that some people like folders since they don't want to carry too much, but I find that you're going to need a binder. The time's going to come where you're going to have a heavy workload with a lot of handouts, and it's just going to happen, so you want to prepare for it. So the way that I organize mine is that I have a sheet in the front, and they're just plain with a little cover like this. And so I have my biology, and then I have all my labs in here. And then in the afternoon, when I have my lecture, I just flip the binder over, and then I have a page with key terms that I want to review for that day, and then I have my lecture notes. So I find that way works for me because I'm able to utilize those sides, and I'm going to view both sides, so I'm able to see what I have coming up. Like I said, this I'm going to take a look at it because I'm holding it, I'm staring at it, it's going to work for me. So I showed you guys the flash drive and how I hate things that are overprinted, and I'm just going to show you guys how much. So these are all labs that I have to do. And that's a lot of paper to be wasted. And it's not wasted, I mean, I have to turn them in. So to overprint on top of that, that's why I think flash drives are so useful. So for those of you that are like, well, I have more than 2 classes, the other 2 days that I'm in school, I actually have 4 classes back to back. And I basically do the same concept, but I add dividers. So this is my history class. So I open it like that. And then here's my tab. And mine actually have this little pocket right here. So what I'll put in there are things that I have to reread or assignments that I have to turn in that day. And it keeps them nice, and then I can just take them out right away, and I don't have to hole punch. I know when you turn in an assignment to the teacher or it's an essay, you don't want it hole punched. So then I'll flip it to the other side, and this is geology. And then I'll open it, and then I'll have the tab again. And then that one will separate this subject from this subject. So again, it's basically the same concept, but I have it like that. I actually don't really like that they stick out this much, but they've been working out fine since I have a backpack. So the other thing that I want to talk about is about note-taking. So I'm sure you guys all know what this is. It's a highlighter, and I'm a highlight crazy person. I also see a lot of people with like the multiple colors and are highlighting a ton of stuff, and I find that that's not going to help your eye focus. Then your eye's not going to be able to recognize what's important, what's not, since everything's highlighted. And then I find that I highlight stuff that I think are important, not that are necessarily important to the class. So the way that I do it is that I do them in blue. And again, this is a personal choice. I find that I like blue better versus black for some reason or another. And then if something's important or the teacher says it multiple times, then I do it in red. Or I underline it in red. And this helps me separate them and know what things were repeated and what things were important for that day. So the other thing that I do is that I date and title everything. If we're going to be talking about cellular bonds, then I'll title it and I'll put the date on it, so that once the study guide comes along, if I see a term that I don't know but it has something to do with cells, then I'm going to go back to that day and it'll just be easier to find. So once I receive my study guide, then I go back and then I highlight whatever's on there with the highlighter, so that way I know specifically that the things that are on highlight are stuff that's going to be on my test. So there we go. That's how I organize my notes, and I hope that's helpful to somebody, because I know I didn't know how to do it for a long time. So the next thing is just suggestions that I would make if this is your first semester in college. You may want to buy your books in the bookstore, but I'm here to tell you that there are other alternates. You can buy them online, and there's a lot of websites that are actually really reliable. I know some people feel a little sketchy about it, but I usually buy them online just because you'll get them for a third of the price. And if you can save money with how expensive school is right now, then go for it. And then the other thing would be that get a backpack. I know I see girls, and I used to have this really cute little tote, but I feel like backpacks are going to be more useful in the long run, and keeps all your stuff together. You're going to be able to fit multiple things in there. You're not going to have to digging for it. You're not going to damage your books by setting it on the floor or anything like that. Your backpack's really going to take care of your stuff. So if you haven't had a backpack in a while, then maybe think about going back. Some of them are really cute. I know I have a pink one. And yeah, just think about it. So those are all my organizing tips for school so far. I hope they were helpful to some of you. I know they helped me out. And then if anybody wants any studying tips, I also have a few of those. I know some people study different, but I kind of came up with a system that helps me. Or if you guys have any organizing tips for me, then just let me know, and I would really appreciate it. So thanks for watching. Bye.